Yannick Correa, of course, as we mentioned, multi-table champion of both singles and doubles over the years. Got a timeout called here with Yannick Correa leading 2-1 here in the first game. Again, the idea here is to win on your home table. Try to steal one on the opponent's home table in that fifth game in particular. And it's now 3-1 as Yannick Correa has come out to get 3 of the first 4 here in game number 1. Tony looking to answer, and he does as he cuts that one back down the middle. It's now 3-2. Lead early on here for Yannick Correa as we get this semifinal underway, and this should be a battle. Stefan Burmedler awaits the winner. Yannick able to work this one up the table, utilizing that 2-to-the-5 passing series, and sends that one through the high lane. Can't hold on to it. Picked up by Tony. Tony sends it with a left hand up the table, then picks it up on the 3-rod. Sprayman now looking to tie this first game up. She rocks back and forth, tried to bring it back near side, blocked and taken away by Correa. Yannick dances with the ball beautifully. Brushes it through, can't hold on to it. Sprayman will have another opportunity here to advance the ball 5-3. Takes it across the table, tried to bring it through the lane. The left hand of Correa able to contain it. Again, boy, these two really battling here on table 1. And again, you see the comfortability of Tony on this table, a table that maybe previously he wasn't all that comfortable with. He'll still tell you it's his worst table, but he looks pretty good so far. He's down 3-2, and he's going to call time out. Tony, of course, will be part of that strong American team competing in the Nations Cup this weekend. Yannick, who has kind of switched allegiances, I guess, to some degree. A man of Portuguese descent living in Luxembourg, now playing for Team Portugal. And I talked to him yesterday. He said they've got a strong team. He likes their team a lot. Sprayman able to even it up at 3 with that one. Again, showing you that he feels quite comfortable on this French-style table. Yannick tried to pass it through that lane, knocked down by Tony, comes back to Correa. Great ball handling, but he can't connect on the pass. Blocked back towards the goal by Tony. Picked up with a left hand, and it's stolen away by Sprayman. Quick shot near side, just wide. Sprayman will grab the rebound. And again, another block here by Correa. And it's steal by Tony. Sprayman shot attempt taken back by Yannick. Look at him dance with that ball. Oh, almost knocked it back into his goal. Got the left hand back there to keep it out. A lot of time here, then is able to angle it up to the 5. Stepping into the forward position, Correa. Try to go through the high lane again. Tony there defensively. Yannick will start over. It's Taken away again by Spredeman. So see what Tony does here. And mishit that one, but he'll get it back. Spredeman for the lead. Yannick there again on that near side. An entertaining match so far. Boy, that is pretty, the way he dances with that ball, then passes to the five. Correa. Taken away again by Tony, who's getting opportunities, but Yannick has been there defensively in the last 4 possessions. Another block here for Yannick. Referee for the match, the German Heinz Kiesling. Picked off the outside wall towards the goal, kept out by Yannick. Correa sends that one down the middle and then picks it up on the 5. Boy, nothing gets through these guys. And then angled into the goal with a 5. It's 4-3. So great defense pays off for Yannick Correa, as Tony had 5 or 6 opportunities. You see Tony talking to referee Kiesling. Perhaps about some upper body movement, potential distraction. You can see the intensity, though, on both sides. The biggest singles title in the world at stake here this weekend, or this week. Stefan Burmedler awaits the winner. Spredeman angles it through beautifully to that middleman on the 3-rod. Set it up, looking to even up game number 1. Tony, shot attempt again. Yannick is there. Tony has gotten opportunities. He's gotten possessions on that 3-rod. Has just not been able to convert. And that blocked off the inside wall and in by Spredeman. We're tied at 4. Tony with a chance to steal on Yannick's home table. Correa. Try to brush it down along the wall. Boy, the defense on both sides has been sensational. And the steal here by Spredeman on the 5. Tony able to go through the lane. I believe he has 1 timeout remaining. Let's see if he uses it or if he's going to go ahead and shoot the ball as he sets up the snake shot, looking for a first game win. Spredeman fires it home. Tony Spredeman steals game number 1 on Yannick Correa's home table. He leads 1-0. And they'll head over to the Tornado table, where Tony Spredeman is probably the greatest singles player ever on this particular table. And you can see Yannick Correa working hard in that first game, kept Tony out of the goals on 6 straight possessions, but could not keep him out on that last one, as Spredeman able to steal game number 1 on Bonzini. There you see the pass angling in for Yannick, giving himself the 4-3 lead. Tony with a defensive goal off the inside wall. And then watch the pass here. As Tony gets it, scores it to that far corner, and high fives his American fans as we get game number 2 underway. And now Correa at a big disadvantage against Spredeman. Again, Tony Spredeman, I think 10-time, 9-time world champion on the Tornado table in singles. And I think in most people's opinion, the best singles player ever on Tornado. Frederick Collignon certainly would give him a run. I think those two are in a class of their own. Ryan Moore would be right there with them, perhaps. But Spredeman on his home table and a chance to strike first here in game 2. So he sets it up. Yannick, that post-up defense, and Tony waits and then finds that near corner. It's 1-0. Again, Correa certainly capable of beating Tony on this table. Right now, Tony playing with great energy, great fire. Passes 2 to the 5. Will step into the forward position. Try to go along the outside wall. Does so successfully. Spredeman sets it up. And strokes it home. It's 2-0. Tony rolling right now. Again, that open singles final, men's singles final would be tomorrow. I'm guessing it would be early afternoon. So those of you watching in earlier time zones, maybe keep an eye on that, on when that will be happening. You may have to get out of bed early. Of course, everything will be available for you to watch after the fact as well, as Tony will call timeout with possession on the 3-rod. You know, we saw such great defense in that first game. Yannick Correa keeping Tony out of the goal time after time after time. But again, when you think about it, Yannick did not have many possessions on that 3-rod in that first game because of great defense on the 5 by Spredeman. Defense always pays dividends. That's what wins championships. And we saw great defense on both sides of the table in that first game. And Yannick's going to need some defense here as he's down 2-0 in game number 2 on the Tornado table as Tony puts the ball back into play. Spredeman fires it back to that far side. Might have cut that one inside the defense of Yannick Correa. It's 3-0. What a performance so far from Spredeman. Correa through that high lane beautifully, trying to work his way back into the match. Correa finds a very tight hole down the middle. It's 3-1. And this is where he's going to need to play some D. But Tony with a quick pass, the pull kick, the score. It's 4-1. The signature Tony Spredeman play, beautifully executed. Wow. Can't wait for the replay of that one. Haven't seen that one in a few years. That comes Correa. Like Correa scores and Tony comes right back with that one. That's got to take some of the life out of Yannick Correa. He is able to find the hole to the near side here to make it 4-2. But Tony right now on top of his game. Will send it down the middle and look to claim game number 2. Spredeman fires it home. It's 2-0. Back over to the Bonzini table we will go and look at Tony, look at the energy, look at the body language. He cannot wait to get back on that table. Meanwhile, Yannick going live with Spredeman leading 2-0. So Correa, right now all Yannick can really do is take care of his business on his home table. Basically just pass and score. And he does so here. It's 1-0. Tony back along that outside wall. Boy, his Bonzini game looks strong. He worked that near side quite a bit. Closed out that first game with a shot to the far side and comes right back down the middle right here to even it at 1 in game number 3. Correa trying to brush it down along the wall, taken away by Spredeman, who has been sensational defensively on the 5 on Bonzini. Pretty good on the 3 as well as he angles that one to the center man on the 3-rod. For the lead, Spredeman. Shot near side wide of the goal, right back into his own goal. It's 2-1. Tough break there for Tony. Not going to linger on it and dwell on it for very long because he comes right back, passing it through that far lane. See if he goes back to that far side. Yannick not showing it, then switches using that 3-man defense, and Tony finds the near side. As Yannick brought that far man on the 2-rod over, Tony got around it. We're even at 2. Correa trying to brush it up, and again, the defensive 5 of Tony takes it away. Spreiteman tried to come back down the middle. Angles that one towards the goal with a 3-rod. Rebound picked up here by Yannick. It's 2-2, but stolen away by Spreiteman. For the lead, Tony. Regrips. Tried to take it out to the far side. Yannick out there to make the block and then grab the rebound on the 5. Correa. Tony's defense has just been ridiculously good on that 5 row. Again, for a 3-2 lead, Spreiteman. Swings and misses on that, gets it back. And quickly calls timeout. You see the look in the eyes of Tony Spreiteman, who is working his magic on the 5 so far. Caught a bad break there. Apology from Yannick. Tony, not distressed too much. He'll put the ball back into play as we go live once again. That shot attempt taken away by Correa. 2-2 here in game number 3. Spreiteman leading 2-0 in this semifinal of men's singles here at the 2025 World Cup in Zaragoza. Spreiteman fires it home near side. It's 3-2. What a performance from Tony Spreiteman. If you ask Tony, he'd like to keep playing tonight the way he is playing right now. But that final would be tomorrow. And, of course, he still has some work to do to get there. And Correa with a big possession here. Tried to take it out to that far side. Blocked by Tony. Yannick again. Strokes that one home. Took his time beautifully. Waited for Tony to switch into that standard and found that near corner. It's 3-3. Tony tried to go along the wall, taken away by Yannick. Correa for the lead. But Tony there with a block. And we're going to look up here. Probably a jar there, I think, on the, as Tony went for it after making the block. It was kind of leaving his area, and this one's going to be awarded to Yannick on the 5. I think that's probably a good call. Now one picked up off the back wall by Correa. Another chance for Yannick to surge ahead here in game 3. Correa finds the hole to the far side. It's 4-3. Yannick Correa of Portugal trying to stay alive, but Tony able to angle it in with a 5. It is match point for Tony Spreiteman. And he'll call time out. Boy, Tony really came to play in this match as he won that opening game on Bonzini, 5-4. Then held serve on his home table, the Tornado, in that second game at 5-2. And it's now 4-4 here in the third. If Tony scores this one, he's headed to the final. Yannick needs it to keep this match alive. As Correa will put the ball into play. That pass attempt blocked by Spreiteman again. But this time, Correa able to get it through. One of the rare passes he has completed. Chance to send it to game number 4 for Yannick Correa. That shot attempt, he doesn't execute it. Picked up with a left hand here by Tony. Spreiteman, let's try to send that one down the middle. We'll grab the rebound off the back wall. On goal with a shot attempt with the left hand. Yannick will look to pass 2 to the 5. He does. Now stepping into the forward position, looking to advance it 5-3, but taken away again by Tony. Somehow almost able to grab that one on the 3, but Yannick is able to pick it up on his passing rod. Sends it through that high lane to the 3. And he'll call time out. You saw Yannick able to find that far side. And Tony, bit of a fortunate play there as a pass went into the corner of the goal. And Yannick saying, I should have been there. Tony says, I'll take it. As we return to live play and a chance to send it to game 4 once again for Portugal's Yannick Correa. Correa. tried to come near side. Tony stayed home to make the block and grab the rebound. Sprayman up the table just wide. Beautiful catch on the 3-rod by Correa. Again, Correa sends it to game number 4. Yannick Correa staying alive. Was able to keep the ball out of the goal and eventually scored himself to send this one back over to the Tornado table. So Yannick holds serve on his table, but now he's got to deal with Tony Sprayman with a chance to advance to the finals on his home table. Saw Tony get on the board early with that one to the near corner. A couple of them to that near side of the goal. Yannick working the near side on his side of the table. On the far side, there's that one that Yannick feels he should have been there. And then Correa with a huge shot here. Back to Tornado we go. Well, I hope you're enjoying our coverage of the 2025 World Cup here in Zaragoza, Spain. Jim Stevens with you on a Wednesday evening. About 17 minutes till 11, which means it has just gotten dark outside. It stays light here till around 10:30 or so each night. It stays warm 24 hours a day. I think the lows are in the 70s centigrade. Which I think is the mid-20s centigrade, rather, Fahrenheit on the 70s. And well over 40, well over 100 each day here in Zaragoza. But it's beautiful. What a great city. As we get game number 4 underway, Sprayman putting it into play, can't execute the pass. Comes back to Tony at goal. Now, Yannick Correa has to steal this game to stay alive, and he does steal the ball here. Shot attempt taken right back by Tony. But you can only do what you can do. He did everything he could in that earlier Bonzini game, just unable to get the ball because of the great defense of Sprayman. But he did hold on to win game number 3 on Bonzini. Did his part there. But somehow he's got to find a way to beat Tony on his home table, on a table that he is maybe the best in history on. One of the top 3, certainly. Sprayman with a chance to strike first here in game 4. Tony fires that one home far side. It's 1-0. And Sprayman, of course, one of the best closers the game has ever seen. He knows, despite having a 2-1 lead, you take nothing for granted. You've got to close the deal. You've got to come out with even more energy. There's that quick pass to the 5. Along the outside wall to the 3. But Yannick with a block. Well, I feel like from ball 1 in this match, we've all kind of been on the edges of our seats. Both players coming with great energy early on, and Tony continuing with the energy here makes it 2-0. And Yannick really up against it now. Down 2-1, down 2-0 here in the 4th. Correa needs this one, but Tony there again. Boy, the defense of Tony Sprayman has been spectacular throughout the match on both tables. Tony methodically working it up the table. 2 to the 5. 5 to the 3. Now looking to go from the 3 to the back of the goal. Tony Sprayman. Shot attempt, able to rattle it through. It's 3-0. So Tony Sprayman appears to be bringing it home, appears to be headed for the men's singles final. And what a matchup that will be. You know, early in Tony's career, certainly we talk about the fact that he is such a great Tornado player, but he was not a great multi-table player. He was not great on the others. He just sort of survived on the other tables. Well, I think that has changed. You know, living in Europe for the last couple of years and...
Alo, chuyển chưa? Tao mới chuyển qua ví Momo cho mày rồi đó.
Ví? Không không,
Momo này là ứng dụng tài chính, giúp bạn quản lý chi tiêu tốt hơn. Mua trước trả sau. Đầu tư với số vốn nhỏ. Tiết kiệm cho tương lai.
I think everyone is going to look forward to what should be a classic singles final tomorrow as Tony closes it out with a 5-0 win in Game 4. He defeats Yannick Correa 3-1, and Tony Sprayman of the USA is headed for the Open Singles Final. What a performance. We saw an amazing performance by Stefan Vermetler in the other semifinal. And Tony follows that up with a sensational performance of his own, which means we are really looking forward to tomorrow's singles final. It's going to be Stefan Vermetler, it's going to be Tony Sprayman, and it's going to be a classic. You see the American crew celebrating the win for their man, Tony Sprayman. Sullivan Rue figuring out which camera we're on. Good job, guys. Nice work in the booth. I like it. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for a Wednesday night here in Zaragoza. But don't forget to join us again tomorrow at ITSF TV and, of course, Inside Foods as well. And wherever you might be watching this outstanding event for Zaragoza, Spain. And for tonight, everybody, I'm Jim Stevens, and we'll see you foozin' tomorrow.